I'm so angry because this anything we have mother in. When we have to have something bad.
Evening.
And then when there's something really interesting and good about what's happening here, they don't say, what found us. What kind of reporting is that? That's, you know what that is?
This meeting is being recorded.
That's an example of internal bias.
So Tom, are you trying to be in two places at the same time? I agree with all that.
I want to share my screen.
We have been. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, nice. You want to learn? So.
No, that's it. That's it. Oh, it's you.
Can you?
No. The wife was asking, is it?
They're both here with the attendees.
I got to.
My wife asked me on the way out, as long as they're gonna. Three in the morning. That's the question. Don't laugh. Learn never to try to answer. Oh, my wife is used to it. I'm sure she is, yeah.
It's a different. I don't know, Tom, if you want to come up, you can hit the share. Tom Davis. Oh, I see Tom Davis.
No, but you've got it, but you sharing is blocked.
Ah. Well, I clicked on you and I got to make host. Do you want to be the host?
Sure.
Change host to Tom Davis. Change host.
Well, temporary.
Really no need.
Tom Davis is the host now. Okay, does that work?
Basically. Everybody.
That's Don't worry, you made it. Photo.
I know, it was like just a minute in time.
Yep.
Yeah. Have to pick it up at 6:30 and feed us both.
You fed a kid between 6:30 and now?
Yeah.
Damn, why didn't you throw it at that kid? Here's your food, kid. Good idea.
They should curious.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They should curious.
Feels extra quiet in here.
Available this time here.
That's
Tom is the host.
Oh, yeah.
Your presentation.
Yes, so there's. Well, it being 7 o'clock, I'll call this regular select board meeting to order for March 24th. Roll call, all present and accounted for. Is there any need to adjust the agenda, Mr. Manager?
I had none.
Okay. Public participation schedule. First on the docket is Scott Kerner for Good Measure Brewing. He is asking
for closure. We're getting feedback on your.
Oh, that's right. I have to push this button that says something. There you go.
All right.
No,
No, it's on the computer, laptop.
Volume's going up. Is that up now? No.
why doesn't it work? What am I missing?
Now try.
testing one. Yes, that looks good. So Scott Kerner is going to join us remotely tonight to talk to us about a request for closure of East Street for anniversary party. Scott?
he's there, he was trying, yeah, no, he said he was gonna have.
Hey guys,
Hi, Scott.
hey, I got the kids and I have my bath starting right now for them, so I'm gonna pop in as fast as I can.
No problem. So, we just received a letter that you are requesting to have East Street closed for anniversary party. Is that correct?
That's correct. We did it last year and we want to do it again.
Is there any questions the board has for Scott?
Date is June 20th.
Did you say, I see you talked to local first responders. Was there an email that you hadn't yet talked to the interim chief? Moulton?
Kevin and I talked today. Sorry to call him Kevin. Chief and I talked today. We were supposed to talk after lunch and he didn't call me until about 5 tonight. But he is all in and on board with our plans.
Great. The only other question I had was last year, I was trying to remember, I think it was just like a minor signage issue.
Yeah, well, last year the construction was happening in town and we kind of usurped some of their signage, but this year I have a full sign brigade set up for detouring traffic around the bank, from the east side of East Street, from King Street and Turkey Hill, as well as from Main Street around the bank parking lot.
Great.
Are there gonna be any bands? Or,
Yes, we have one band, but like I said in my email, they'll be done by 8:30 and we'll be clean by 9.
okay,
Any other questions?
I'm very happy to see this.
It was a great event last year. It went really well. Megan from the ambulance squad was nice enough to give me her radio. So I held that, and I put volunteers at both of the temporary blockades in case of a fire or a medical event up on King Street or Turkey Hill. And I talked to Pete as well. If there's a barn fire, we need to get a ladder truck up that road. We'll get it up that road. I promise.
All right. Further discussion? Is everyone on board? The manager has the authority to give the okay, so. All right.
I'm fine. The board's fine, I'm fine.
All right, Scott.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And I know that later our liquor licenses are up. I'll probably be in full bedtime mode at that point, so I won't be able to respond, but my cell phone will be on.
No problem. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everybody, for all the work you do. We appreciate it.
Next on the agenda, Tom Davis from the Economic Development Office. He is going to speak to the board and the public about a possible Amtrak stop in Northfield.
Yeah, Tom, let me just tee this up a little bit. I asked Tom to prepare the summary, following up our meeting with Tom will speak with, but Dan Delagre from the State Rail Division about a month ago. But in my short tenure here, I've noticed that there are a lot of, I'll say, infrastructure projects that have been churning in the background. And I'm not so sure select board has been briefed on them, so I'm trying to make it a point to bring staff and or consultants before the select board on a periodic basis to make sure these projects are on your radar screen and you're aware of them and you're aware of the work that's being done in the background. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tom.
Thanks. You mind if I go over there so I can point to the screen?
No.
Those of you who have a computer, I'm sorry, I wish it was bigger. But I think we can walk through it okay. Tell me where it's best for you to stand. Maybe here.
Or maybe on the other
You
side.
can you can rotate that, so.
There you go.
Nothing personal. As Steve already pointed out, we had our last meeting finally. It took a very long time between when we started this process in early 2023 to where we are today. All kinds of typical things with the federal government, changes in administrations, et cetera. And then the long holdup was waiting. Amtrak and the Agency of Transportation wouldn't even consider this stop for Northfield unless both the states of Connecticut and Massachusetts, their transportation agencies signed off on it, or at least said they wouldn't object to it. Because it adds one more stop, which is a grand total of an average of 3.5 minutes. It's not a big deal, but they're always worried about the total time of transportation between the beginning and the end and how based on how many stops. Both Connecticut and Massachusetts said we have no objections. We're not gonna get involved. So that's when Steve and I met out at the site with the AO2 representative who works with Amtrak. And we got some new information that he had not told me before. Before we were told that the platform had to be 700 feet in length, which forced it to be on the south side of Wall Street, which made that more complicated in the process. We've since found out that 300 is the minimum, which greatly changes the game here in terms of what we're potentially able to do. Where I'm going with this when I'm completed is basically getting some agreement, if the select board feels that's the appropriate step, is to find some funding to do a real site study based on some recommendations from us, but for them to look at the regulations and then draw some different options of where we could put both the place where people would load, the platform, all the other parts of that. So we've been green lighted by AOT to take that next step. And the Secretary of Transportation has made it clear over and over to us that he's very supportive of this. And as is the governor, which is good for us in the process. So what you're looking at here, which is hard to see, is this line right here is the preferred place for the platform, which would obviously have to be built according to ADA standards. And we'd have to get grant money at that point, which is fairly available for these types of transportation projects, so that people could board on this side of the common and not have to cross over Wall Street, which even though we will have a new crossing at some point with a new sidewalk, still is very difficult to have the train stop, people walk around and come in from the police station side of it. So this is 300 feet, or as you can see, 299.17. So the problem is if you go too much farther, you hit that bridge. And so that was our issue before by not being able to get this platform into here. But with 300 feet, we've got plenty of room where the platform could be constructed. The proposed site, and again, this is all subject to study and your approval. There's a whole bunch of steps in between, but the preliminary place to start would be if you look over at the Felino's Pizza, they're only using a portion of this property. And so you could build a covered transportation port right there where people could access the platform under the weather if it's bad out. Which this is the minimum size is 290 square feet. You can make it bigger, it doesn't matter. I spoke with Northfield Village Development today to see if they were agreeable to it. Obviously, we have to check with Felino's, but they'd be crazy not to do it, right? It's more business for them. The train is stopping there. He said they're completely supportive of that if it helps the town. So the ideal situation would be this accommodates the ability for restaurants and stores on the common everywhere to have more business, not just Felino's, because it's so easy to walk over and get on the train after that. And the train comes through, as you know, roughly 10:30 and then 8:15 or something at night. So those are times when things are still open. And they could take advantage of having more travelers coming down and taking the train. So the ideal scenario would be that they would be able to come on here, get on the platform. We would not have to sell tickets. They could do that on the train, as you probably all experienced at one point in time. And we don't have to have a specific station because we have covered areas in the town where people can be if the weather is bad, besides standing underneath this covered entry point. So that would be, if it all works out with the specs, the ideal place for the train with the least amount of disruption. Alternatives are to have it be still north of Wall Street, because we can't block Wall Street because of the ambulance, because of the fire station. So, we technically can, but we don't want to, because we want them to have immediate access for emergencies. But we could put it here along this area, as you can see from this line, and I have printed copies that I will send to you all that are already done that has the report and the map, so you'll have one in your own possession. But we could put one of these anywhere along that line. We could also ask the railroad company if we decided we had to be on this side, which would be the west side of the tracks. We could ask them to use the easement to create overnight parking. We might be able to do that anyway, so that we would have additional parking, and that means people would be coming down, leaving their car on the common while they go away, if they go away for one or more nights. And if with that opportunity, that land is obviously perfect for doing such a thing. The next option is that you go to the south side of Wall Street to still not block and come down here. The problem there is we have permission here, and this is Northfield's land right up to the easement. So we don't have to worry about more money to purchase land and to procure something where we have to then build something. And so this has moved from being probably the place we thought it was going to be being the least savory option of all the ones we could possibly have for doing it. So the next step in this process is to find the funding to get the study done with why or why not this would work or not work, and then what the other options are, and then obviously present those all to select board. Select board's agreeable to it, then it goes to AOT and Amtrak for their review, and then we're on our way to the next steps. Questions?
You answered the only question I had, which was about tickets. So no issue there.
What do you think the timeline is gonna be on this project?
Oh, goodness. Yes.
A long time.
Yeah, a couple of years probably. But now that we're in the queue, and the good news for us is that Senator Welch is a big advocate of increasing the amount of train access along with other transportation alternatives in Vermont. We have a really strong advocate there. It's also a strong advocate for appropriations money to build the platform and to take care of that without having to use, obviously trying to float a bond or do something else with community money. Obviously, the politics of Washington dictate that more than anything else, but we are on the best path we have been in a while for this, and it's not being impeded in any way with what's going on in Washington.
So to perform your study, you said you're gonna look for funding. What are your ideas?
Well, V-Trans does have specific money for railroad and for trains, and because they want to increase the number of stops. We have Senator Welch is trying to do a new, not just his appropriations, but there is a grant that he is trying to get nationally for more places for public transportation. That's become a bigger and bigger issue, as we all know. And then it's probably gonna have to be through one of those places, Dave, because then this is obviously too big for a private funder.
Yeah.
But they have participated in many of the stops we have along the way in Vermont already. Essex got money. I believe Waterbury got a considerable sum. And the new platform they just constructed in Montpelier was completely paid for with grant funding.
Any other questions from the board yet?
Well, you brought up parking.
Yes.
I mean, it isn't like, I mean, in the wintertime, if people have to go overnight, technically that violates the parking ordinance in the village.
Well, unless
Their
we,
cars are left on the.
unless we make designated parking where we had a different ordinance, that's right.
Yeah.
The other option over here, the parking could be over here as well. As it stands now, the owner of this property and this parking lot already leases it to Norwich University for the nursing students to go there, so they're not taking up spaces on the common. He's completely amenable to providing overnight parking there too, obviously for a fee. But, you know, I think people are used to parking at train stations and having to pay fees to park overnight.
Would the study include a parking issue as part
Yes,
of it?
absolutely. It would be comprehensive enough because AOTs, if Amtrak doesn't pick it up, AOT will. Yeah, they're gonna.
Do you have any idea of the cost of the study in case the town, like if there isn't funding, is it anything the town would be able to?
Early
afford?
estimates, and I've got to refine them a lot later, but they're probably somewhere around $20,000.
I'm sorry, what was that, Tom?
$20,000. That is a very rough estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will not sign off on that until I get more specific information.
It's exciting to hear that this has continued to move forward and I really appreciate the update.
in a long slog, but we're glad to be moving again, and it's great that Steve knows the Amtrak representative Dan very well. He's the most difficult one in the whole team to deal with in terms of getting him to be a positive supporter, but he's very pragmatic and he was great. He was, okay, you know, we're not gonna block this, so that was good news.
Well, I'm for it.
Well, at least you know. There's a pulse and it's moving forward and I'm sure Tom will carry it forward to.
Is there any questions from the audience? And online, yes, sir, Mr. Clement.
Bill Clements, just looking at the schematic and we've talked about different river walk and paths and everything, I guess mostly to emphasize the pedestrian use of that rail cross because this will cross that path off the downtown path with the platform goes across it just to assure that there's, in addition to parking, that there's a pedestrian pathway and that rail crossing.
A sidewalk.
The sidewalk, yeah, the
Yes.
sidewalk at the rail crossing gets improved so that it's
Yes.
easy to use.
Are you speaking of the one by Fernandez Hardware?
Well, the path,
The
Yeah.
new path. Okay,
well,
yeah.
this transects.
The new
shortcut.
Wall Street to Dumb River Park,
Yes,
yes. Well, that's part of what we've been talking about is, we are in the process of, it's been approved for, the train company to go ahead and do the study on how that crossing is gonna be done, so that they will be fully aware. They are already aware that we wanna make it a stop, so, yeah, definitely.
We're getting a lot of positive reaction online.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Any other questions from the audience? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Ken, I'm gonna close this, I don't know if it's gonna do to you, but.
So you just make some, Tom being the host, I made him the host earlier.
Oh, I may let him go after I just disconnect.
It may ask you
Okay.
to return
10-second technical break.
Technical timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go like this.
Commercial break.
Thank you.
I just, thanks, Tom, little box there.
Yeah, I was just trying it still has, oh, there we go.
Thank you, Lydian. Next item on the agenda is liquor license renewal for Good Measure Brewing and the Stick. Been moved
Second.
and seconded to renew the license of Good Measure Brewing and the Stick. Any comments, questions from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 5-0-0. Our next item on the agenda is outside consumption permits for the same two businesses, Good Measure Brewing and the Stick.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
I just remember that we spent some time on outside consumption last year. And we talked about potentially the need for some kind of parklet or, I don't know what other word to use, but outdoor use, ordinance or process that people go through, and we started some drafts of a potential parklet ordinance, but didn't go anywhere with it. I guess I'm assuming that Good Measure probably wants to utilize parking spaces again, and as they have for a number of years. And it's worked out, I think, for the community, but we had some dialogue about whether we needed to have a more formal process if people want to use town space for their outside consumption.
So are you thinking you're thinking, my understanding is really not a permit process in place now. So are
No.
you thinking having a permit process or a permit ordinance?
I just wanted to bring the discussion back up. I don't wanna do this as the same issue we had last year. Like, I don't wanna cause the businesses at the last minute to scramble. It's something we should plan ahead so that they're well prepared. So talking about the future, I just wanted to bring it back up again. I don't wanna stop either of these businesses from being able to do this. And I think,
I think part of their outside consumption permit is for them to regulate the area and have it cordoned off. I know the stick does.
yeah, theirs is on their property,
and-
so.
And I know, Good Measure does.
As of-
With the outdoor seating.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but you bring up a good point that we should put that on our list of goals.
Just putting it on for future discussion.
Mhm.
I think the city of Erie has something like that. Let me just reach out and use it maybe as a model.
This is familiar to us too.
Yeah,
Further discussion?
Can I have a comment on this subject?
Sure.
On the good measure, I'm not saying against parklets, I'm not. My understanding is last year they kind of went over the line, so to speak, and they were a little bit bigger than they should. And that's a concern, and another concern is they're right next door to the only public laundromat in Northfield now. So.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Part of Domi, I'm sorry. So there will be more traffic, I think, on that street. So I just think there needs to be, like I said, I'm not against them, but.
Well, do they come to us for approval of the use of the street?
and I think they've been going through the manager. And I don't remember exactly how many parking spaces we've
You're
given. I'm
talking
sure
about
Scott
for the-
remembers.
For the good measure.
Yeah.
event?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they-
not for the
Not
event,
the event.
Oh, I'm sorry.
for the whole summer
Yeah,
season,
okay.
they set up an outdoor eating area.
Well, it originally said 4 parking spaces, and originally there was a
Okay.
sign, a temporary sign. That we put up, reserved for laundromat or something. to
Yeah, and I know
that
they've had conversations with the laundromat to try to work together.
But that really is not germane to the
This,
business at hand tonight.
Yeah.
Further discussion. Hearing it. All those in favor of approving the outside consumption permits for Good Measure Brewing in the stick, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, 500. Next item on the agenda, approval of regular meeting minutes of March 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions, Tim?
I'm good.
Lydia?
Good.
John?
There was a. No, it was. Never mind.
All set?
Yeah.
Mary,
I'm fine.
you're good? Any other questions regarding March 10th? Minutes. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Abstaining, 500. Next item on the agenda is March 11th special meeting.
Don't move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the special minutes of March 11th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 500. Next item on the agenda, March 18th special meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 500. Next item on the agenda, approval of warrant 1826, 1826A through G in the amount of $145,720.99.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Comments, questions, Tim? You good?
I'm good.
Lydia? John?
And nothing from me, thank you.
Wow, I'm gonna be the stick in the mud, huh?
Yeah.
So I just wanna understand one thing. And that's on page 14. And everything seems to be grant oriented towards that great event we had a few weeks ago. Is everything that's listed on page 14 for the ice block party part of the grant? I noticed it. Yeah. I just noticed this one item.
What's that?
It said everything was grant except for that item.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sweatshirts?
Yeah,
I'll have to check on that.
well, it's fine.
Yeah, and I don't know if something got cut off here.
Probably so.
Yeah.
That was my only question. All right. I'm good. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving warrant 1826 A through G in the amount of $145,720.99, say aye.
Fine.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining, 500. Approval, receipt, by payroll through March 15th in the amount of $109,719.57.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving receipt of biweekly payroll through March 15th for $109,719.57, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining, 500. Next item on the agenda is appointment of various town officials that serve on various commissions or committees. Ken, do we normally just
You can just approve the slate with one, motion.
approve the
I'll
slate?
break it down in the minutes.
So I would look for a motion to approve the slate of candidates that have shown an interest.
I move to approve this slate of candidates who have shown an interest.
Need a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion.
Oh, it just looks like we're looking for a Dog River Park Committee member still.
It's been vacant for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, we'll advertise for the vacancies.
Yeah.
Great.
And a grand juror.
Well.
Yep.
Uh,
All right, any other comments?
And
Hearing
thank you
none.
to everybody willing to
Yeah.
serve too.
Yes, this is very
I'm always
important.
excited, and there's a couple new folks, so
That's what I thought.
that's
yeah.
great.
This is very important. And we feel grateful that these people are doing this.
Yep.
And
Grateful
that
to the
means
long serving and the new people.
That means that on cold winter nights, they go out to meetings and make decisions. And mostly, nobody knows.
That's right. Further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 500. Thank you, everyone.
Well, there were some additional letters that were not on, names that were not on that list.
I think that might be the next one.
We're coming up.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay,
One's in
sorry.
the elective office.
So we have next on the agenda, appointment of water and wastewater commissioner. And as Mary has alluded to,
Sorry.
we have some interest from Steve Fitzhugh, who submitted a letter of interest on March 12th. And he's expressing willingness to be considered as an appointee for the wastewater commissioner to serve Northfield wastewater customers. And he has served as commissioner in the past from 2014 to 2025. He is also serving as the electric commissioner and was just reelected.
I move to appoint Steve Fitzhugh to Water and Wastewater Commissioner.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 500.
Since his elected office, he only serves until next year, then he has to run.
Got it.
Thanks, Ken.
Next item is the appointment of deputy health officer. Which we have a letter of interest submitted. To the health officer, who is, Mitch Ozeki. And it is from Crystal Peterson. She is the Director of Nursing at Mayo Healthcare. I would look for a motion.
So moved, I contacted her and asked her if she was interested. And I contacted her because she was recommended by somebody whom I respect. And so I'm happy to see that she says she can do it.
It's good to have a community organization like that represented. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Crystal Peterson as deputy health officer, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 500. Mr. Manager, you are asking the board to authorize expenditures for Brown Public Library
What about this person?
read. Did I miss?
Who's, was
Dylan?
Dylan, we already
Yeah,
appointed him.
yeah,
Was he part of the other?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see his name on the list, I'm sorry.
The others for reappointments, he was a new appointment.
Okay, thank
He's
you.
taking Nelson Hoffman's spot. Town forester.
I remember last week you said that. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, sorry.
So, Mr. Manager, tell us about repairs for the library.
Yeah, so in the last, I think 2 to 3 weeks, I received a couple of separate requests from Ricky. Ricky, okay, the library director who contacted me first and said the exit door, the exit or entrance door, for the library wasn't working. And I think she thought it was a simple replacement, as did I. So I reached out to, I actually contacted Jim Russo to come up and see if he could fix it. And he said, no, it's broken beyond. So he reached out, who knew who the vendor was to install the door, and he reached out. So they provided a quote for the $4,304 or so. And truth be told, I actually authorized that, and the door has actually been repaired.
I think it was easier to get.
The other one, the 25,400 for the HVAC system controls. It was much bigger, and I didn't dare to go out that far. Both of these are unbudgeted, which makes it challenging. But these seem to me to be the types of facilities and maintenance needs that could not be ignored, could not be deferred. Right now, I understand the system. The HV system works okay as long as you keep it at a set temperature, but it won't adjust, or you can't adjust it as the seasons change or whatever. Clearly, and the system is 25 to 30 years old, as I understand it. Can't even get parts for it. I tried to give you a pretty good summary. So one of the things that I've been to do while I've been here is I just had a sense that there was a lot of deferred maintenance and neglected maintenance as I came on board, and I'm trying to not let that happen, deal with the stuff. Even if you gotta make hard decisions, I'm reasonably comfortable that the town will run a reasonable surplus at the end of the year. So even though this isn't budgeted, I'm sure it can be covered out of a designation from the surplus, but there repairs that I feel strongly have to be made, and put copies of both proposals in front of me. These are the vendors of the systems that were here. So another reason we can probably get proposals.
Got it. So, obviously, the smaller amount is expended, but Are you asking for a motion to
Well,
approve your proposal?
Well, yes, I think a technical read of the procurement policy might, we had. Would have to come to the board anyways, but more importantly. I just want to make the board aware of these kinds of facility purchases and maintenance needs and what they are and that they're being addressed. And in this case, they're sizable chunks of money, at least the 25,000 is sizable chunk of money. So I wanted to. Like I said, just make the board aware and obviously take blessings, hopefully, but.
So I would entertain a motion for further discussion.
Motion to authorize the Brown Public Library repairs.
Yes,
Move to approve.
Second.
moved and seconded, discussion.
A couple questions and thoughts. I can't remember what we had remaining in the funds we had set aside, ARPA funds for community room repairs. But there were funds remaining for that. I think the doors at
It
least.
was 25,000, if I understand correctly from Lori, and I'm reflecting back on what we did on that, I apologize, you didn't.
Yeah,
There's $25,000 budgeted this year in the cycle, but that's to cover a $23,500 deficit in that same line item from that exists right now. That 25,000 will come out of next year's budget. So basically, I think what I'm saying is, I understand there's no money budgeted. Effectively budgeted to cover something like this.
we'll just double check, cause
Okay,
I know that the community room, we had put aside, we did a bunch of repairs to the kitchen. And I don't think we used all those funds, they were ARPA funds. But I trust Lori.
There
So,
wasn't much left over from that kitchen.
no, but there was like 7,000 or 6,000,
You think it was that much?
something like that.
He knows.
Enough maybe for the door.
He said it was 4,000.
Well, there we go. It might help with the door. And then, but my other question is, will the HVAC work address the volume of? Can we do anything about, we can't put on the air conditioning, cause we can't hear in here when it's on, it's so loud.
I will check, but I doubt it. I
Yeah,
think that's
probably
a
not.
function of the blowers,
Yeah.
And the metalwork.
Yeah.
It's not a function of the controls.
Yep,
But part of the reason why it was on during meetings is because of the controls not working properly.
mm.
I remember that.
Yeah,
We
but
would send John up to turn it off.
it's silly to have a system we can't use because we can't hear.
Yeah. It's amazing how common that problem is in other facilities.
So you mentioned the procurement process or the policy we have, and you're comfortable with this?
Yes, with select board approval, yes.
Is this the only company that's looked at it?
Well, they're the contract maintenance.
It's because of the
vendor.
existing contract,
Okay,
otherwise we'd follow our purchasing policy.
yeah, I was wondering, what's the cap on the purchase?
I mean, you're gonna
I
ask
think,
that question.
yeah, I should know, but I think it's in this neighborhood. But that's a cap. On the manager, I mean, with the select board's blessing.
Cause usually,
I think it's
anything over
10,000.
10,000, it's gonna.
I think it's 10,000.
3 bids or whatever, and I'll just,
We
I
have
mean,
some,
HVAC system, we have a couple of companies here in town that do HVAC work and, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, to be honest, my goal was to just deal with it, get it done, and this is with the vendor that, maintains the system, so.
What's the board's pleasure?
Oh,
we have a motion.
Yeah, we
so-
do, and it's seconded.
Yeah.
Further discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 500.
Thank you.
Next item in the agenda is approved interim manager contract extension. The interim manager approached, the chair and the vice chair at our meeting, weekly meeting, and asked us to consider to formalize an extension of his current contract to extend so there would be overlap with the hiring of a new manager.
Yeah, hopefully, and it's, the schedule seemed to mesh, so.
Yeah, and it seems like it's gonna work in, for total transparency, we are, been requested to adjust the compensation from 75 to $100 an hour for this extension
Yeah.
period.
Yep.
And to continue to reimburse his travel for 75.
Yeah, the federal rate.
72
72.5.
for 5 cents per. I would look for a motion,
So moved.
Second.
and then seconded, discussion.
I'm appreciative that we will hopefully have continuity and that you're willing to work with us a
Yeah.
little longer.
Well, there's more stuff I'm trying to get done, frankly.
Yes, yes.
I won't have enough time to get it all done.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm happy that you like it here enough that you're willing to do it for another month.
I enjoy public service and I enjoy the challenge. And it's really not all that hard.
Oh, really?
There, well, you know, there may be some.
I'll be in your office, I'll be in your office in the
I'm
morning.
not trying to dare anyone. Don't misunderstand me. Thank you.
Further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of extending the contract for interim town manager Steve McKenzie as proposed, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays in the room? No? Any abstentions? 500. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, town manager's report. That's you,
Yeah,
Ken.
yes, it is.
You know, just an overview.
Yeah, I just.
You got a lot of paper today.
I had this all figured out.
Here it is. You can. use
Yeah, well, I
mine.
had a computer in front there, it's buried. I don't know what it was, yeah, if I could take it. I just, oh, yeah. Just need to organize my whole memo. I put in the, report that, there's no King's Rally, which will be held on, March 28th in the Common. It's very short, from 9:30 to 11. There may be 100 folks, they really don't know how many are gonna show up, but the rally is to be held there for an hour to an hour and a half, and then they're headed from there, the main rally, I guess, in Montpelier at 11. I was asked to, well, they came and met with me, and we really don't have a permit policy for the Common, but they had the courtesy of, it actually met with myself and Brian Gosling. Kevin was away, he had Brian sit in, so everything was copacetic. I also received a request from Norwich University to close Central Street on April 18th from noon to 10 p.m. That's from Washington Street to South Main Street. And that's intended to allow for guests and students walking to and from the event tent. Again, I understand precedent has been set in closing Central Street, and with the background I had, I granted that request as well. I know that I continued in face with Donnie Smith. I think, hope that I'm headed in the right direction. Time will tell. I have my lookout that keeps me posted. So we had, I think, something significant. We had a joint meeting with the local with Sid Pollock of Vermont Emergency Management to update the local emergency management plans. Is something that has to be done annually. But this time I asked all of the emergency responding department heads to sit in on this, and it seemed to be a pretty productive. Sid was pleased, and I think we made significant improvements to the plan. He sent it back to me to take a look at, so I expect to probably approve it with little if any change. We continue to have ambulance negotiation team work sessions and negotiation sessions. We had one on the a negotiation session with the national team on the 17th, and our next session is scheduled for the 7th. The negotiations seem to be going along smoothly and productively. We probably haven't gotten to the real tough stuff yet, but nonetheless, they're going positively. Negotiate a couple of easements for the Kent Street, stream damage repair project. This is some of the cleanup, closeout grant administration that has to be done to get these things closed out, which is no small challenge. I also met separately with the highway wastewater department heads to get brief on what's coming up for summer projects this summer, and based on their information, I'll prepare a memo and update the next select board meeting. But I thought it'd be good to get that information to the board, get the information to the public. We'll post it on the website so that people have a chance to see what's being done in the next year or next construction season. You mentioned the Brown Public Library. Thank you for those. I have, as part of the sort of the infrastructure briefings, I learned that a required 20-year evaluation report for the wastewater treatment plant had been completed in November 2024, but my understanding is hadn't been brought to the board's attention, and
We reviewed it, but
oh, you did?
Mhm.
Okay, I was like to believe
It
otherwise.
was in our packet.
yeah, and we went through it and.
Okay, well,
But it would be good
it's gonna be
to discuss
review
it
DC
further.
who all over again.
Yeah.
I think it's good to just get it back before you.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
they'll
thank
come
you.
next
Agreed.
board meeting to, and have I think, a brief presentation. I will, do you all have Tim probably doesn't, but I have a scanned copy, and I was gonna send it out to you folks separately from a packet. I mean, it's a 20 page report.
That's fine.
That way you can read it at your leisure. And something else that's significant, with the assistance of, Jim Russo, who's been working with the state. He provided the necessary confirmation through various, reports and work that's been done, I guess, over the last year or two. Provided confirmation to the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation that the town has completed the construction of South Main Street area stormwater separation and CSO abatement project. CSO is combined sewer overflow. And it's all a mouthful. And the Sherman Avenue and Houston Street stormwater improvement projects. The significance of that is that the town no longer has any combined sewer overflow points, and has been removed from the DEC watch list, and it's a significant accomplishment
Yes,
on behalf of the staff.
thank you very much.
Well, it's nothing I did, it's the staff did it, but the only thing I had to do was write the letter, say we got it all done.
Can you pass on to them our commendation?
Oh, I definitely will.
Thank you.
And as far as ongoing stuff, it's really, I mean, 2 or 3 main focuses is continued hiring. I will, my goal is to get the ad for the police chief out, distributed by the end of the week. But I think it's time to move on with that. I mean, probably be a 30-day warning or advertisement period, and I think it'll overlap well. The new manager will be able to make a recommendation for this board on the chief, but
Yeah.
I think we're at a point where it's time to get it going. And like I said, rather than have a lengthy list of just the same old, and I don't mean to diminish it, but there's just an awful lot of stuff. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, well, next up is that time of the night where board members' comments, concerns, or questions. Tim?
Nothing really. We did, me and Steve met with Carl and we discussed the gravel usage.
And I need to follow up with Carl on that,
Yeah.
I think he was receptive, and I think he had tried that before, and I think.
Yeah.
I just like to try to work out a plan with Carl to.
Yeah. Like we discussed, you know what I mean? There was Carl brought up some budget problems of shortfall in monies, and you were gonna look into it, and I mean, I feel like if we at least can't do anything this spring, that we should definitely come budget season.
Yeah.
That should be where the priority lays in that aspect, so.
and it seems to me, based on your experience, that over the long term pays dividends.
Oh, yes,
It,
tenfold.
yeah.
So you don't think we have the opportunity to do it this year?
I'm
It
not
all
sure.
depends
I
on the
gotta- I
funding,
gotta spend
like,
some time with Carl. We're gonna, from my
Yeah.
standpoint, I would like to try.
Mud season isn't here yet, so.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
without deep diving into the budget of what's left from previous years and what the surplus is and everything else, and that's Steve's.
I will give you a 10,000 foot overview of the budget the next meeting. My gut is that, but not pure gut, but based on previous glances at the budget, that you'll end with a surplus. Yeah, I'm not gonna put a figure on it, but
Lydia,
Well, but-
John,
I'm all set.
Mary,
Well, I got a couple. First of all, and in no particular order of priority, okay? Just how they fell into my collection. The open meeting law continues to be a mystery to me and a vexation. And I rather imagine that that's true for other people who are in positions on committees and so forth. Lydia has advised me that committees don't have to follow the open meeting law, but.
No, they definitely have to follow the open meeting law.
Okay, see?
The training requirement is only for.
Yes,
chairs.
that's right. The training requirement is only for us. We have mandatory training. But I think we should open it so that at least the chairs and vice chairs of all these committees and groups that meet could take advantage of that.
yeah, I don't disagree with you. And actually, I think I sent to the board the notice that there was an open meeting law tutorial by one league last week.
Yeah,
I did sit on that just as sort of as a refresher. I don't remember what's online. They're
Yeah.
on VLCT.
The VLCT trainings are great, but they don't meet the requirement, the legal requirement for the training that the manager and the chair of the legislative body has to take. That's on the state's webpage.
which I have taken in the
You have
past,
to do it annually.
so I will do that.
But it wouldn't be a bad idea to just offer that on a larger screen to anybody who wanted to come. You can just stream it for free.
Is what's available, as you're talking about the secondary administrations or the
The Secretary of State's website, I believe,
yes,
is where it is located.
Yes,
That's the one that we legally need to watch every year. Those
That can be done
people,
online.
that can be done online, and for the legal requirement, you put in your name at the end.
Yeah.
And
electronic
and you-
signature.
yep, and then you can send it to Ken too, that he can keep track
Okay.
that you've done your training for the year.
yeah.
And also this is not on subject, but addition, if there's ethics
Yeah.
training that
Requirements.
we all should do.
So
Which-
my feeling is that all those online trainings are nice and everything, but it's nothing can beat sitting around and people going, well, what if you do, what about this? And what about that? And people think of things that I haven't thought of, but then when they say it, and then I go, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to know more about that. So I would say that we should host some kind of training in this spot. If we can.
You mean hire somebody to do it?
No, we can watch it on the TV, but then we can talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that could be.
Just like an event.
Yeah, so that, and, okay, so that's one thing. So
Yes.
thank you very much for letting me bring that up. The second thing I wanted to bring up is about 6 weeks ago, we had a presentation here by a gentleman who had some difficulties with permitting. And I wondered if that got settled. This is out in the falls. At the
No,
Falls Trailer. Park.
No, it's not, and I Mitch is pursuing it. He and I were going to try to get together last week and just would just changing schedules and so on, we missed. I want to meet with Mitch this week, my plans to go down and tour the Falls, trailer park.
Yeah.
Understand where the issues are. And then, determine what options are available for dealing with it. One of them, the setback is a real sticky wicket and off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
How to deal with it.
the attitude was also kind of,
Well, that,
Halfway.
I pressed, Mitch on that. He's pursuing that.
Yeah.
And, is at the point of if he's not receiving the compliance, we'll start issuing fines,
well,
which,
yeah, that doesn't do anything for the fellow that had the problem.
well, part
but
of
some kind
it is fines for just failure to comply
Yeah.
with the administrative requirements. And you're right, it doesn't do anything for the setback issue, and that's like I said, that's a real sticky wicket.
And then the last thing that I have here in my scrawl is about the covered bridges, again, in the falls,
Yeah.
I think. And, the covered bridges are going to have to be, they have been needing some repair for a long time. And so we're gonna do that, but I'm looking here and it says, my favorite four-letter word, cost. So,
Interesting that you mentioned that, Mary, because quite some time ago, I'm gonna say at least a month. I was contacted out of the Clear Blue, and I can't, I gotta have to go back through the email from contacted out of the Clear Blue. By a gentleman who, I think constructs. Covered bridges, and he was wondering if Northfield would be interested in sponsoring identifying a bridge for a project, and my understanding was in a very brief conversation that this demonstration project, I guess is what they call it. And the funding for the repair of the bridge would be provided by them.
see,
But,
that
and
would
he was
be,
gonna get back to me,
yeah,
and he hasn't, and I haven't, I'd have to go back.
well,
and
I can help with that if you'd like me to, since it's in my backyard.
Yeah.
But there's 4 bridges in my backyard that I have a concern about.
Yeah.
So, the problem is, yeah, we'd have to do some coordinating because the state is already involved in the other 3 bridges. The 3 bridges on the Cotswold Road that the state is already involved in. Then we just went out on a limb and paid we paid some money to get the Slaughterhouse Bridge usable. That's the 4th bridge in the falls. And, that's okay, I think, now. But, the situation with the other 3, we're gonna have to work with the state. So I'd be happy to work with you on that, and if you just tell me where you want me to carry the water, I'll go do it.
Yeah, I gotta figure out where you go to carry the water.
So I'll give you an update, or not an update, but a background of that. So the state of Vermont approached us a few years ago that they had funding available for assessments of the bridges. And this is what we were presented, the assessment.
Yeah, that took up a lot of time one night, I remember this.
And then we have the assessments now, and they were going to provide funding for the restoration of those bridges.
Yes,
And that stopped in its tracks immediately upon the completion of the assessment.
Do you remember who contacted the state?
Well,
Was?
The person who sent us
Yeah,
just emailed us.
I'm sure,
No, I can find. it.
Yeah.
I said no.
I can't off the top of my head. So we have an assessment, we have a plan. And we thought we had a funding source through the state of Vermont. Actually, there were 2 funding sources. It was gonna be the state, and then it was gonna be historical preservation, if I recall. I could be wrong. But, so that stymied that project.
Because the
Am I-
funding didn't come together.
Sort of,
Yeah, I mean, we should talk to the state again about.
that, whatever you can figure out, from that.
Lydia, what did you say?
We should check back in with them about the funding, but it is my understanding that
The
the
funding
funding went
evaporated.
away.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
The
Yeah,
funding evaporated because of.
Similar situation with Lover's Lane.
yeah.
And, but if we've got somebody going, oh gee, I'd like to do a demonstration and I'll pay for it, maybe we'd like to hear some more about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
But with the fourth bridge of Slaughterhouse,
Yeah.
and paying all this money, I mean. There needs to be more work done there on our side, the water is still continuously running into the bridge. So,
Yeah,
The problem, the problem
It's
The
gonna come
problem was
back.
fixed, but the problem wasn't solved.
Yeah, it's gonna come
I
back.
mean, there needs to be something further that the town should do with the road for water. I mean, the water's running down there, running right straight, I mean, I went by there today and the water's running straight into the bridge and
It's gonna rot
that's
the
why
bridge.
it ended up in the situation.
So
it was in.
It's solvable, you're saying, Tim?
Yeah, you just gotta stop the water from running in
You
there.
just-
So there's gotta be some reconfiguration of the road, whether it's lowered in front of the bridge so the water goes off before it gets to the bridge, like there's
Common
things to do.
You could put a culvert-y thing and the water could go down, before it goes
you
over the
think
bridge.
this is something that Carol and the highway crew could do?
Yes.
Should definitely preserve.
Yeah.
The
Well, that
bridge
was
that
a
we just
big
put a
investment.
bunch of money into.
Does it seem like an expensive fix or?
No, it's
Just
just, I mean, it's
great,
everyday
grading,
work,
grading.
it's grading, it's. Regrading of the road, I mean, not so much grading, but like probably taking an excavator down there and. Lowering the road in front of the bridge so the water goes off before it gets to the bridge and that should help.
Isn't that paid? I
No.
forget. It's not
So-
paid.
so-
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Many years ago, there might have been an apron on that side of the bridge, just a short
Yeah,
4-foot apron,
Yeah.
if my memory serves me correct, no, paved
Asphalt?
apron, yeah. But I believe it's either covered with dirt or has been removed.
I'll follow up, Carol.
We also have recommendations from previous times that the state examined that bridge for
Correct.
repairs.
are
There's
you
a lot
talking
of,
about Slaughterhouse Bridge?
Slaughterhouse, yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of.
There's a
paperwork.
lot of history.
Yeah.
in the
Bridges in
files.
general are, you wanna dive into the bridge issues? That's-
Yeah, well, we tried to start to address that in budget.
Unfortunately, this town has a lot of,
Yeah,
That's right.
a lot of bridges.
Lot of bridges.
and a lot of dirt roads.
Anything else, Mary?
No, that's it. Those three things were mine.
And I'm good, I have nothing to say tonight. I know it's history, but
Oh, we thank Steve for the big screen TV and the municipal.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, you do not know how much the select board appreciated walking in that room and having a television that would help us conduct interviews and have meetings, so
Well,
thank you.
It was so simple to do. Oh, and frankly, I mean, I went out and bought it over the weekend and then, Jim Russo and I think it's.
So you're saying this is a gift to the town?
We haven't seen the expense report.
So hold the praise.
No, no.
Oh, but having
It's wonderful.
sat in there at a number of meetings, squinting at the.
No, we've been asking for it for a long time. That's good.
Just another box check.
We just gotta get a few more things in this room done. But you're right. Thank you, John, for saying that.
You're very welcome.
All right, public participation unscheduled. You'd like to be recognized in the room? Yes, sir.
My name is Jim Talfess. I live here in Northfield for about 40 years. And I've come to talk about the persistent issues of impediment, traffic flow on Upper Union Brook. And it's persistent. About a week and a half ago, the neighbor had a car up on ramps. Was working on a car, was for about 2 days. It happened in the fall, about 5 days. The plows can't get by, might go up and down that road. at least twice a day. That area does not get plowed once he moves his car. There's a steep embankment. There's no shoulders there. It's 35 miles an hour. I've read the minutes. We've discussed this, or the board has discussed this 5 times. I have the dates in that. I'd like to be updated, but I also want to make a comment on the traffic ordinance 2014-1. There are very simple solutions here to this. In Article 6, Section 1, it says you can't block traffic. That's very clear. Article 6, Division 1, Section 2A, that you can put a sign up and state very clearly you cannot block traffic. And we already have examples of that in the Lower Union book where you can't park. It's illegal to park there. There are 2 recommendations in the ordinance. Article 8, Division 2, Section 3 states clearly that where areas of parking on streets are prohibited, they can be marked by signs or by a yellow or orange paint on the curb. The location of such signs shall be determined from time to time by the highway department. We do not have to go through a long process. The highway department has a right, according to this, as I understand, to put a sign up along Union Book, as I state, all the way up, that there should be no parking, vehicles will be towed. Secondly, Article 8, Division 2, Section 4 says other signs, that the town manager may designate other traffic control signs and their location from time to time. That there are 2 opportunities here for the highway department as well as the town manager to put signs up to state you cannot park here, but also to put a sign that says you will be towed. If you look at the ordinances regarding fines around parking, it is very chaotic and confusion. You cannot follow that. But, you know, there's an impediment here. My kids come from different parts of the country now. We've been living there 40 years, and I've never had this problem before. And there are other people who are struggling with this. And I drove by one day and he had his ramp up on a car up on a ramp. He had another car there as well. And I stopped and I said, what's going on here? I says, I can't get by. This is very dangerous, you know? And he gave all reasons and excuses, but I think it's a liable issue. I think the town has to take action to remedy this situation. And I think there are 2 solutions, unless I misread this in Article 8, that the town manager as well as the highway department can put signs. And I would say, no parking, your car, your truck, your vehicle will be towed, period. Because what's gonna happen this summer, even though it's not gonna snow in that, he's gonna be working on his car, right in Union Brook, and it's just not a safe situation.
I can speak to that. First of all, I didn't catch your name. Would you mind giving me your name?
James Toutfest,
Could you spell your last name?
Tautfest.
Taut.
F as in Frank, EST.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, you're right. This has been a chronic problem, and one that, I inherited as I came on board here. I know the 2 incidents that you speak of where the car was up on ramps and, I think there was a red car parked there a day or 2 later. Tim keeps me appraised of what's going on there. I've gone up and met with, Donnie and talked about the situation, says got to stop. Trying to get compliance on a voluntary basis, but if that doesn't work, then we'll take a more forceful action. If you've spoken to him, as you said you did, he had the same excuses for me that I think he gave to you, and said, okay, this can't happen anymore. And he indicated, he apologized, promised that it won't happen anymore, so I'm keeping watch. But your recommendations, I haven't frankly had a chance to dive into the ordinance. I will. And if there's not voluntary compliance to them, I will look to take some of those measures.
Can we set a date like among ourselves, so that we're not gonna keep doing this?
Well, I would
forever?
say,
I mean, at some
I
point,
think he did already.
yeah,
what is the date?
I don't have a hard date. I told him,
Let's have a hard date.
well, the date that we were talking about was April 15th.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care what the date is, but let's have one so that these people don't have to keep coming here.
Yep.
Meeting after meeting and telling us how sad it is for them. And I'm sure it affects you at least 2 times a day.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you have company visiting, yeah. And we've tried the nice way, you know, for a long time. So now maybe we have to be a little less
Well,
nice.
that's the route I'm headed. And like I said, I inherited this hand grenade and. I'm
Yeah, and it isn't
But
a new problem.
try to make it clear to them that it will, although others have gone up there too, and there's a line.
It's not a new problem for us, but, I think just because just so that we can give some assurance to the other people who live up there, that we take their travail seriously.
Yeah, well, which I have. I mean, I've spent more time on this than here.
I know,
So I would like to add to that though, that Steve has curbed the issue in the last few weeks.
yeah,
That things
We gotta
have
stop.
changed since conversations and I believe as long as I mean, and this is the part that I don't like is having to stay after it. So if it
Yeah.
if it does occur again, then I think then that's the step. We need to move.
James,
Forward.
why give me your phone number so I can,
Surely. It's 802
Yeah.
917 4184. I have the ordinance here, 2014.
Yeah, would you mind?
That speaks about your role.
Yep.
In action, in Article 8, as well as the Highways Department's role as well. If you would like.
I'm sure I can find them, but it would be helpful.
I'm sorry.
He has a copy, he has a binder.
Well, no, I just assumed if you can hand that to me,
He just asked for it.
Okay.
it's just,
I doesn't know.
I have it right in front of me, and I don't have to keep searching for it, but thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Forgive me, I'm not trying to be difficult, but nice is not enough. This is a safety issue. And as you have put designated no parking signs on Lower Union Book, all the more you should be putting that all along. And I think you need to put it all along because there is no shoulder. You can't park anywhere on Union Book. So that an individual is not feeling as though he's being discriminated against.
Yeah.
That's not my intention. My intention is that, it's safe passage up and down. And it's been really difficult this winter, and I don't think it's gonna be any better this summer when he fixes his cars.
thank you very much
Thank you.
for coming.
Anyone online that'd like to be recognized? So Carolyn,
Yes, please.
go ahead.
I just want to mention that in addition to those lovely bridges in the falls, there's a lovely little bridge out here on Stony Brook, which has been the victim of some really brutal bashing
Yeah,
over the last year or two. And rarely is it repaired. It shouldn't need to be repaired, but somebody run their truck under it, and they wedge the boards off the top. So I just would ask that be considered as one of the Northfield bridges.
it is, thank you.
And which bridge is that?
That's,
Stony Brook Bridge.
what's the
Stony
name of
Brook?
the one that starts with an
It's
M?
called the Mosley Bridge.
Mosley Bridge, yeah, on the Stony Brook Road.
It's a pretty little bridge.
They're all pretty, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Thank
Any
you.
other, you're welcome. Anyone else like to be recognized? All right. Anyone else in the room? I would look for a motion to go into executive session for a legal
For public participation?
Yes,
Yes, me.
go right ahead. I'm sorry, Kristen.
I'm here tonight, to bring up something that I've been bringing up. The board is not following rules of decorum, because of somebody who is logging on, who is harassing me continuously, which is right there, who is also in the chat, talking about Tim also. This is not appropriate. I have plenty of logon names. I have contacted Zoom myself. I have, the data centers that they're logging into. It's somebody that is continuing to harass me as a community member, and I've had enough. So they either need to be banned from participating and continuing to do this. I have a strong idea of who it may be, by the comments that are also being said. But that's not appropriate, and I don't know why that these things of my address have been up here, my name is up here, and that the computer is sitting in front of somebody, Mary, right there. And
Yeah, but I don't see that, your address.
This
I'm sorry,
computer
but-
screen is big in front of you and you can't see jobless Kristen on there? None of you?
I'm not
I
only
don't
see
think she's saying
jobless.
the address
All right,
is up
Well,
there
I'm
tonight.
saying, like,
Let's not get into a debate. Let's listen.
what I'm saying is that this right here is up here. It's been since October, actually. There has been things up here at me. And now it's been pointing with my name up there, where my hometown is, my address, but now. And here it is again. So I have a family emergency, was at home, wasn't gonna be able to be here tonight. But when I logged on to see this, I made a point to come here and had to put my family emergency on hold because this is bullshit. And it needs to stop.
So, Kristen, have you brought that?
Absolutely. I've gone to the police, I've gone to Zoom, I've gone to the town manager. I'm done. Enough's enough.
Yeah,
I'm a single disabled mother. And I'm not jobless, thank you very much. I get a paycheck.
so, Kristen has been communicating with me. I've actually asked her to send me a list of the names that have been used. One of the reasons I sat in on the, open meeting law, seminar was to see if there might be something specific here. Or in the seminar, there wasn't. I followed up with the, seminar presenter, Carl Andier, he's one of the staff attorneys. I got a response, but it wasn't a succinct response. It's led to more research, which I haven't been able to done. I haven't been able to do. It seems to me that, people should be required to identify themselves with, full names and not captions or whatever, and, to me, that's the rule, and if somebody who's virtual doesn't comply, then they should be able to be moved on.
We got another one.
Alright,
So
We're
it's
just-
running this meeting,
Right.
just wait a minute. So, Steve, so what you're saying is in your research, you have not found a policy or a practice. This is your personal.
Not
opinion.
yet, but yes, right, yes.
All
But
right,
that,
I wanted to clarify.
I just haven't been able to get all the research done that I need to.
So would we, acting upon your recommendation, what does that expose the town?
That I don't know.
Well, that is very important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Zoom
do.
has opened up a harassment. They have a harassment department and they've opened up and they are investigating themselves.
Lydia?
a comment is, I would love to get definitive answers from a legal source about what we are and aren't allowed to do. I don't believe we can tell people they have to give their full name. I do not believe that we can do that.
That's a concern of mine, and I don't wanna go there if it's.
I think Mary might also know something about this, but I have another comment. I just,
Lydia,
wanted to ask whether we can find out whether we have to allow the chat function to be active. Because everybody in the room has to have decorum, they speak when they're recognized by the chair. We are supposed to speak when we're recognized by the chair.
Exactly.
So the chat function to me would be the other question that maybe we could confirm whether we can just turn that off. So then at least the people online would have to raise their hand and be recognized. And we do have a public participation policy that has some words about
Sure does.
respectful treatment of people and, you know, speaking about topics and not name calling. So we can refer to that as well.
Mary,
May I speak?
not yet, Carolyn, hold on.
Yeah. Mary is muted.
No, in the room, Mary.
Sorry.
Oh.
In order to address some issues like this or other problems that happen with hybrid meetings, the city of Montpelier had to adopt a code of conduct for the meetings, and that speaks to your policy, but you might want to revisit it. And it is legal to require their first name to be used and for them to state it, and you definitely 100% can turn off chat.
When they speak or just to join the meeting?
No, just to join the meeting.
Okay.
First name or first and last?
First.
Oh, first name, okay.
I don't care if they're Donald Duck or whatever, but something that is
Offensive.
offensive and obvious toward me and Gomez defamation of character, attorney, whatever. If that's a law firm, they're not gonna put that up there. We all know why he's after me. Let's face it. But when it says my name, there's no a 3-year-old to come in here and tell you it's me. All I've asked was an ordinance of some sort that you can't do that. I don't care if he logs in and participates from wherever he is in the world and is Donald Duck or whatnot. But this needs to stop.
Thank you. We will work on it. Any other comments from the board?
Dave,
Yes, Carolyn, sorry.
I'm wondering if Norwich could offer any assistance through their cybersecurity
Yeah.
program.
Good thought.
Certainly reach out. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
I don't think it's a question of identifying the source per se. I think it's a question of the conduct.
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
And he's only runs.
Any other public participation? Seeing none or hearing none, I would look for a motion to go into executive session for a legal matter.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor of going into executive session regarding a legal matter, say aye.
Aye.
And we are going to invite the manager to participate. Thank you, Steve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, will be in executive session after a couple of minute break.
Do you need the remote?
We will not.
Okay.
Hey, Mary.
Computer part.
Right, right. Yeah. And I had no idea who Jay. But now I.
030.
All these.
Yeah, you can call her.
Shape of it.
Yeah.
Help.